Hey everybody, welcome back to another stop motion tutorial, and today we're going to be talking about the swivel chair technique, which I have perfected, and I've found a way to make it work better for stop motion. So I'm going to give you a closer look at some stop motion I've filmed while using this technique, and I'm going to show you how this works. So first, to clarify, the swivel chair technique is having a chair and one of these pieces with the rotating top, sticking them together, and then when you set them down somewhere, then the chair will be able to move freely. For this to work, you're going to need a 2x2, and these are the same size. As you can see, it is exactly the same. And to make this work, you're going to want the same color of base as you have for this. In this case, it's black. And to show how this works, we're going to be looking at a stop motion video which I've been working on. Now in the video clip, you'll see how the character moves in his chair, and then as it stops, he begins moving his arms toward the talking bit. Now, right then, it would be very hard to move the character's arms when he's sitting in a swivel chair. For example, if I'm trying to move this character's arms while keeping the chair completely still, it's basically impossible because it moves so freely. So, to combat this, we're going to replace this piece with this piece. Then, you can move the arms as freely as you want, and it won't move. Now, in the video clip, as soon as the stormtrooper stops moving, that is when I replace the pieces. And as you can see on my set, the way I have the camera angles, you won't be able to see the very bottom of the chairs. So, when he finally swivels to a stop, we take off this piece, and then we throw in this piece, and then we put his chair back on top, and it looks exactly the same because it's the same height, same color, and now he can move his hands freely. The reason for this is to show you how you can use this technique and still have very smooth stop motion. I think using this to move your characters back and forth looks really nice and it looks more realistic, but then having the ability to stop them anywhere you want is also helpful. But now we have another issue. What if you want to move your character to a position that isn't straight? If you want to move this character to here and then have him talk, it's not going to work because his chair is still going to move when we move his arms around. So, in order to fix that, I have another strategy. So instead of replacing this piece with the 2x2, I'm going to replace it with this tiny little stud piece. Then, when we put our chair on top, it acts the same as this, so it can still swivel. As you can see in our stop motion, once we set down this new chair, place a minifig in it, and swivel him, we can stop him at any point and move his arms without moving the chair. That's because the stud, when it's placed, can move in a full circle, but it doesn't have very much give, so you have to move it by hand slowly. Unlike this piece, which moves very freely and is hard to move a minifigure around on. In my stop motion, there is a scene that shows that, and I will play that right now. And just like the 2x2, when you replace the pieces, it's not noticeable, so people will just assume that you keep the same piece. So all you're going to need is your chair, your rotating piece, your 2x2 for the straight on sitting positions, and if needed, one of these little pieces so that you can move your chair in a 360 but then also stop it smooth. Now for this, it's best if you have the same color of base as you do of chair, because when you change them out, it's going to be a lot less noticeable if the color is the same. Even if you do a base that is the same color to this, it's still going to look a little bit off when you change it. And having a camera angle that doesn't show the very bottom of the chair also helps, and it gives your video a much smoother effect.